Hi everybody and welcome back to the Paperless Movement YouTube channel. I know what you're thinking right now. Tom, are you crazy? You're talking again about alternatives for the Apple Pencil, whereas the Apple Pencil is the very best thing you can get. And I agree with you. Apple Pencil is the most awesome stylus I ever used. But why I don't use it with my iPad mini, I will let you know now. Before we start, I want to make very clear, this isn't a sponsored video by Logitech, Adonet or what you can call them. It is sponsored by you, my Paperless Movement Inner Circle members. And I thank you very much that you support me on a consistent basis, so I'm able to make these reviews in the most possible unbiased way. And I always give you the reason why I'm deciding things and why it is my opinion, and I will do my very best in this video again. So, I love the Apple Pencil. I love the Apple Pencil 2 and I love the Apple Pencil 1. They are still both very awesome, the very best styluses you can get on the market to date. Especially with the iPad Pro 2018, where you have the Apple Pencil 2, I think it is the perfect device now with the magnetic charging, and when you're using the Sugo case, I made a video about this already. I think it's the perfect combination, iPad Pro 2018 and the Apple Pencil 2. I wouldn't recommend any other stylus using with the iPad Pro 2018, except you want to have something cheaper but still reliable. Then I made a video about a crayon as an alternative to the Apple Pencil. If you're doing only some note-taking and you want to write some things down, then they might be alternatives. However, I would always recommend to go the extra mile and put in a bit more money to buy the Apple Pencil 2 if you have an iPad Pro 2018. However, when it comes to the iPad mini 5, which now also has Apple Pencil support, I think different there. Because look at this, the size of the Apple Pencil 2 compared to the iPad mini. And why I'm using the iPad mini actually is to be as mobile as possible on a conference or on seminars or something like this. So I can just put it on my back pocket and it's gone, and I have free hands for networking, eating, whatever, and then I still have everything on place. If I want to show a website or anything or make notes, it is perfectly working. And the Apple Pencil 2 is working perfectly as well on the iPad mini. However, I don't think it looks great in the first place. And it is the ratio between the size of the Apple Pencil to the iPad mini just isn't as great. If you look at the back, I have now this stylus pocket here where I can carry around this Apple Pencil, so that's not a problem. And I have this ring where I can just hold my iPad mini. I made a video about this, how I use the iPad mini as well to make notes. However, in this case, I prefer to use the Adonet Note, this one. And if you look at this one, I think it just looks much more businessy, especially in your conference. It is just more, really making notes. And yes, there is no pressure sensitivity. So this isn't for artists, unless you want just to make some simple sketches. It is for note takers. It is for making notes, maybe some sketch notes. Use it in your note shelf or Nebo. That's what I'm using it for. And now look at the ratio to the iPad mini. I think it's just better, and the black is much better as well, and it fits perfectly here on the back, and it just feels everything much more compact and lighter. And that's the reason why I went for the Adonet Note. And especially if you have the iPad mini and you agree and you say, okay, that's everything I need, then it is much cheaper than compared to an Apple Pencil. So those are my reasons why I'm using an Adonet Note. So you can see that it looks exactly the same. And you see that Nebo recognizes both sentences the same way. If you want to use a third-party stylus but you used an Apple Pencil before on your device, make sure that you go into the Bluetooth connections and find the section where it says Apple Pencil, tap onto the eye icon and then forget this device. It's important because otherwise if you switch on the Ethernet node, it can't connect. So now you see it's working with my Ethernet node. Be careful, there's an Ethernet node plus as well. So that's another one which is already a bit thicker. So that's the reason why I still use the Ethernet node without the plus in the end of the name. I will put the link to this stylus in the description below. Of course, you have the advantage when you're using an Apple Pencil that you always can charge it directly on your iPad mini, and it's easy connected, and the connectivity, especially when you're using Procreate or things like this, I always would recommend using the Apple Pencil too. But as I said, in my very specific case, being on conferences, as I said, a meeting, something like this, just to make simple notes and process it further on my MacBook or my iPad Pro, this is the setup I'm using. And I have to tell you something else. I have the Paperless version 2 on this iPad mini as well. And it is really interesting because the tip of the Ethernet node is more like rubber compared to the plastic key tip on the Apple Pencil 2. So this glides much faster, there's much less resistance compared to the Ethernet node. So in my opinion, this even feels more like paper using the Ethernet node on the iPad mini compared to the Apple Pencil. Of course, that's a very subjective opinion and feeling, but that's how I think it is. As I said, I will keep using my Apple Pencil 2 on the iPad Pro 2018, and as I'm using these devices on a daily basis, that's just how I optimize my equipment and my tools. If you have any other setups with your iPad mini, or other opinions on stylus or other alternative to an Apple Pencil or whatever, let us know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. If you're one of my Paperless Movement Inner Circle members, we will see us later in the forums.